Hey, what's up, guys? Edison Sears here with Owl Collectibles, and I have a great return if you are a fan of, the hit game Among Us, because this is the most sus PSA return I've gotten back ever in terms of grades. Combine grades with quality of cards. You're gonna see what I'm talking about once we get through the cards, and you can feel free to let me know, and I'll try to justify it as we go through. But here's a good one: Blaziken, FB. Just Beat of the Frontier. This is a card that I've sold a decent amount of copies in the past, I think 2 or 3, and it's a good Pokemon, and it's a popular Pokemon. It is a great holo and a good artwork. Ooh, a little bit sus, but you can kind of see the idea here. This is Spoink from Clash at the Summit, the reverse holo. These reverses had a pretty decent margin in PSA 10, so there was like a huge multiplier between the raw price to the graded PSA 10 price, which is why I sent this stuff in. This is pretty clean in my mind, but it got the PSA 9, and I think for the most part we're going to see a similar trend. I sent in a lot of these reverses trying to get that nice PSA 10 multiplier. Both the Spoinks we sent in came back 9s. What is cool too is, obviously the reverses in 10 are worth something, but regardless, a lot of this stuff has really good artwork, and we'll go through it. But yeah, I like these reverses just for. Okay, this one artwork is pretty whack. A Quillfish pulled the 9, but it's so funny because it's a Ken Sugimori and they just replanted his Luminion and Magikarp artwork. Finny and literally no effort. It doesn't look correct in the background. They just do it. Pulled the 9. Okay, decent card. This is Marnie from the Trainer card collection. This one's spiked with a lot of other waifu cards over May to June-ish. So this is definitely good. This was a CGC copy. I cracked all my CGC copies to regrade. I can't remember, but I think they were between 9 and 9.5. So maybe 9.5 went down to a 9. This is what we were looking for. Not the best Pokemon. I would have really preferred the Spoink to get the PSA 10, but we have a Weepinbell. Pretty cool Harada art, to be fair. This pulled the 10 at least. And for the reverses from the Legend era, I'll make sure the PSA population shows up on the bottom. Dialga from Stormfront pulled a 9, kind of a rough grade, but this is just an artwork I've always liked. Great Arita art. I really like that background. I think I sent 2 copies in. Blue Tactics Fuller from Miracle Twin. This was a CGC 9.5, cracked it, rusted over to a PSA 10. What's interesting now is that a lot of these CGC 9.5s I cracked and regraded to 10s. CGC just changed their system, so there's no more 9.5s. All that stuff will be 10s. But even then, I still think it's worth, in terms of resale value, to just grade it, cross it over yourself to PSA. This is a nice one. I really wish this got a 10. The Carvanha reverse from Clash at the Summit. The reverses on the dark types are really tough to see. You kind of just notice it on the edges, but pulled the 9 in that. I think, again, I sent a lot of 2 copies for a lot of these. Random 2019 Champions Festival. This is the Portuguese copy. These were all really clean. I opened 2 packs myself, but I remember the centering looking rough. And look, it's super light on the top, heavy on the bottom. So, I mentioned in the past I cracked open 2016 packs. The print quality on that was terrible. The backs all had whitening. The 2019 was all really decent, but both packs I opened had really awful centering. Another Carvanha pulled a 9. This stuff. The Champions Festivals are okay, but the real sus parts was the amount of 9s I got back in this return. This is a cool one though, a Himeno Piloswine Clash at the Summit. I'm really curious. I don't know the pop report, so I'll have that up. I'm guessing this is really low pop in the reverse, because it's not the most popular Pokemon too, so it's how many people are grading it, but there is there's always just some market you can work in when it's a relatively hard to pull card. And it's pretty low pop. You might end up sitting on it for a while, which I think the 9s, this is what makes it tough, is the 9s are really difficult to sell because they are still readily available raw in around that condition. Again, these I all pulled myself. These were the best copies that I had. So I'm really surprised that there was this many 9s. Full Art Karen's Conviction. This was, I believe, a CGC 9 that I cracked and crossed. A little disappointing for it to not get up to a 10. Curious, maybe the centering was off on that, but that's really just not what you want to see with the modern full arts. But one of the Marnies I cracked got the 10. This is a great one as well. Another Arita artwork, Temple of Anger. just a luxury holo rare, but I don't think I have this card in stock anymore. I sent one out. This is a good one too. So this is not only the reverse, but it's also a rare from the set. So if you know how reverses work, I believe every pack came with one reverse holo, but similar to like how English does it, you're obviously not guaranteed. So you're more common to get a common, uncommon because there's more in the set. So the rares are just harder to come by. So I'm guessing this is pretty low pop. And I do like the colorless reverses, just kind of the way that they have like a nice rainbow gradient on them. These are really nice. The Sui, like Nidorino line is really good in this set, with especially the Nidoqueen. But pull the 9. This would have been sick card in the 10. Again, look at the back. These are gem mint cards. I can't stress that enough. Maybe there's some scratching on the holo foil. That's like a risk you run into, but I've seen much worse 9s out there, and I have much worse 9s. Bandit Ring, Eevee, just an evolution graded to 10. I sent in a number of these, and I think the grades are not very remarkable. Darkrush Venusaur pulled the 10. Some more holos. Rough grade. Fever Burst Fighter. It's pretty off center. I think pretty heavy on the right. Maybe there's widening, but I don't see the widening on the back that would pull it down. This is just one of the best Komiya arts, in my opinion, in the hobby. In Pokemon TCG, just such good artwork for Chandelure, and really is disappointing to pull that in a 9. Bandit Ring Kyurem EX, again, it's cool. It's an EX ultra rare. Kyurem's not that popular, and yeah, it's like the base ultra rare. So even in the 10, how good could that possibly be? Dragonair pulled the 10. These are really good arts. This was a card that surprised me how cheap it was, even in PSA 10. It's like $60, so the 9 is probably not going to fare very well. And these are a pretty expensive card raw in Japan. They're like $20 raw, around there. But yeah, just really good Tokia artwork for Gardevoir. So I sent that off just because I like the base artwork. Mega Latios EX, Emerald Break in a 10. That's pretty good, at least, because Latios is pretty popular. This is what we wanted. I want this Chandelure in a 10. That is just a stellar card. I'll have the pop-up as well for this, but I know that this is a pretty popular card, so I'm guessing they're having quite a few copies graded. This sucks. Darkrush Flareon in an 8. And I've always mentioned that Darkrush is a good set to open because you can get so many evolutions as commons. In the same vein, you don't want a common to come back at 8. Shining Darkness Charmeleon, great Nishida artwork. I'll have the pop-up for this as well. I think I've graded one copy before, and it was the unlimited version, which I believe was quite a bit rarer. This is a good artwork too. Good art, Kawaii art from Emerald Break, just Deoxys. It is unlimited too, and I think some of the XY stuff is rarer there, but I don't think it really matters for the commons, even the base EXs. That stuff doesn't really have much of a market to begin with, so the first edition unlimited market hasn't really grown at all. Jeez, Rising Fists Eevee in a PSA 9. And this is what sucks too, because I sent off I think 2 or 3 in a previous sub. They all came back 10. So I pull all the cards out at the same time. I get batches in from Japan. I inspect them. I pull the gradable cards to the side and I send them off. So the first batch I sent in came back all 10s, and the second batch I sent in I think all came back 9s. Darkrush Venusaur a 9 as well. Spiral Force. This is a really nice Eevee. It's a Naoki Saito. And I just think this is one of the best Eevees you can get from Black and White. It is obviously just really disappointing to pull the 9 in that. Really cool card, the Kawaii Dragonite, pulled a 10. I was planning to do part of me was oh, I love Kawaii's art. How cool would it be to get a PSA 10 set of all his cards? But that's, first off, some of the cards are gonna be really expensive to do that in. And then at the same time, it's he's closing in on 200 cards drawn for the TCG. That's not feasible to grade and collect. Another 10 in his Deoxys though. The Bandit Ring Eevee, pulled the 9, that's rough. This one's particularly rough too, because I think this card is reprinted a bunch of times as well. So it's not even the art is hard to come by, you're just going for a grade chaser. Vulpix from Dragon Blast 9 as well is really, oh wow. It kind of looks like it was damaged after the fact, but there's right there, it looks like one of the corners has a little bit of is peeled up. So that would definitely bring it down a grade if that was there beforehand. It could have been done in encapsulation because it's right next to where the plastic part that holds the cards in on the side. Why did I grade this though? I bought the Ninetales Vulpix lots from the set from this guy on eBay. They were all really clean, and I thought grading one I thought it would be worth trying one Vulpix, getting it in a 10, seeing how it does. But that op plan obviously falls apart if it comes back a 9. This is a crazy card. Red Flash Ross. Low key though, this is pretty fire art. This is pretty cute artwork. Like it's probably like a kid at daycare playing with like their Ralts that they got gifted from like their family, and they're like stacking like little blocks together. It is pretty cool artwork. I'll admit that. And I'm going to have it up as always. I'm not sure how many Red Flash Ralts have been graded in the past. Secret of the Lake Cyndaquil in a 9. I know I sent a bunch of these in. Another one of those Rising Fist EVs. So that's what I was saying. Like this batch that I sent off here all came back 9. I mean, just look at the card. I'm not seeing the edge where that really is bringing, like, 9 to me means there's white dots on the back that are bringing it down, that are super, to me, they have to be obvious for it to be pulled down. At least one got the 10. Ooh, Latios from Dragon Selection got a 9. Pretty nice. Secret of the Lakes, unlimited, so yeah, have the pop-up right now. This is a pretty cool card. It's a Fukuda. I'm not sure. I think I've seen a couple of these on eBay, but I'm not sure if any have ever sold. Another sick Kawaii art from Plasma Gale, the Gallade. I believe I've graded the Plasma Gale Kirlia as well. And I think in this submission I sent the Ralts in. Okay, two of the Gallades got PSA 10. That's pretty nice. This is a sick card, man. A really, really nice Banette card. I just think Ghost Pokemon are awesome in general. So I always, if the art is really nice to me, I try grading it to see how it does, after the fact. And I graded one of these in my last sub that I just got back with like the Champion Festivals. I got a 9. Finally got a 10 in that. That is awesome. Really creepy vibes too, with just the Banette hanging there with like the crooked smile and like the dolls in the back. It's awesome. This is a pretty decent, Swampert art. It is, what are these cards called? Ancient Trait. They're Ancient Trait cards, so they're kind of like 3/4 artworks. But yeah, I mean, in hindsight, I don't think I would grade these cards again. Oh, sorry. I don't know. I did like a trial run on some of them. Okay, Full Art Marnie. I think I sent off 3 copies to PSA. They were all CGC 9.5s that I cracked. One came back a PSA 9. The other one crossed up to the PSA 10. And the last card in this box was another one of those Pillow Swines. I'm going to flash the pop-up report like here again, just as like a reminder. But I'm guessing this is a really low pop card. So that's it for the first box. Nothing too crazy. Honestly, not that sus. But I'm telling you, it gets worse.